to my channel. My name is Rain Mendoza, and today we're going to do the last part of my fiction writing tutorial for beginners. So we've already covered how to write your introduction, your body of the story, and I also covered how you can do your ending or your conclusion. So the only thing that's missing is how to write the full story. What we're going to do is we're going to incorporate everything that we've learned from the series. You're going to do your one-liner, which is your introduction. You're going to do your paragraphs after the introduction, which will be the body of your story. And then you're going to do your ending, which is the last part of the story. So what I did was I asked somebody to read a story that I wrote. You're going to see all the parts of the story that I taught you, and maybe you can find a little bit of inspiration from the story. So if you're ready, I'm excited to share with you a story that I wrote, and you can listen and then we can discuss the story or the structure of the story afterwards.
Sensei. I looked behind me, feeling powerless as the traces of my footsteps disappeared in the night, throwing me further away from the little town of my forgotten youth. The bright dust fell from the heavens, cloaking the enchanted forest, just as my father had described to me eons ago, it seemed, when it was time to reveal the true purpose of my unique upbringing. "You are the chosen one," my father said, the pain and pride in his voice apparent. "Submit to the great mighty Wara, who will appear to you when you come of age, in the wilderness of Saigu. Bring pride to our family and our beloved Apache." A ghostly apparition caught my eye as the legendary wizard my father had described to me descended like a phantom from a mystical sphere, bearing the sword that will put an end to the reign of terror and pain inflicted by human wolves in the land of the Golden Ministers. His voice came crashing down on me like a deafening roll of thunder. "You are about to put the fate of our kingdom in your distinctive strength. Find your wisdom, bathe in the light, begin your long uncertain journey, my son's redeemer, the indomitable soldier of Apache." I bowed my head in submission, just as I had promised my father before I left home, uttering with great convictions the words I had memorized and kept secret for 17 years. "Hand me the sword of resilience. Show me your beacon of light, our great mighty aura, and I shall come back with Jinhan's untouched by darkness and free of illness." And then there was silence. I felt nothing but the weight of silver resting on my shoulders. Pulling the long metal sword from the leather sack, I gripped the cold handle I was told was wrapped in ruby and sapphire until my hand was numb. I opened my eyes.
So that's the story. I would like to acknowledge Bryan Kay. He was the one who read the story for me. Thanks, Bryan, and I thought you read the story really, really well. So, anyway, with that in mind, let me give you a short background of how I wrote the story and what inspired me to write the story. Right. So let's talk about the construction of the story. Let's talk about the title first. The title is Senshi. It's a Japanese word for warrior. And I chose that because the storyteller in my story is a Japanese warrior from an ancient world in the olden days. And it's kind of like a fantasy world because he was able to talk to a supreme being, which is the great mighty aura that he described. I used an intro which is a one-liner, but It's not your usual one-liner that is super short. It's actually a full sentence. On the introduction, the warrior described his environment, what he was doing. He was describing his actions, which is looking behind him and seeing the traces of his footsteps. So to me, I found it a little bit intriguing. I injected feelings into the story, and I told you about that. You have to inject feelings into your story. You have to know your character. So we've talked about using a central character. The central character in my story is the warrior. There were supporting characters, the great mighty Aura, who spoke to him, who descended from the heavens. And then, of course, his father, which he described in passing. What else? You have to be familiar with what you're writing, especially since you're a beginner. In my case, the inspiration behind the story is my passion for anime. I really like anime. It's a little bit romantic. There's a supernatural element incorporated into the story. There's a lot of descriptive elements into the story. I wanted my audience to feel how my character felt as he went through his mission. And so that's what transpired within the story. And then, of course, with the ending, I didn't want to end it traditionally. I wanted for my audiences to think. I wanted my audience to create their own ending. And we've discussed that in my previous tutorials. You don't have to end the story for your audience. You can give them the power to end it themselves. It's going to be a continuous story in their minds, although it already ended on paper. So that's how I did my own story. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you need to go back to that story as a reference, you can always go to the link of this video, because I posted the story and where it came from, or where it was published on this tutorial. So everyone, we're going to end this session with what we haven't discussed during the last tutorials. We're going to discuss how you can write your title. All right, so I have a few notes here, and I'm gonna read it to you. These suggestions are coming from me, and you are free to go to different sources so you can write your title better. But these are just my suggestions. All right, so first you have to create a short title. It has to be simple. I mean, we can argue with that, because a lot of people would create a title that's very intriguing and making it kind of complex. That will work if that's what you think will make your story more memorable to your audience. You can do that, but I prefer to write simple titles. All right, it has to be visual in a way, if you can do that. Like, for example, you can say red lipstick, or the black box in the attic. You can say that because it's intriguing, it's descriptive, and the audience can sort of imagine what you're talking about. Oh, it can be funny, it can be scary, it can describe a range of emotions. Oh, before I forget, of course, the most important one, it has to be related to your story. I mean, don't put a title that is not related in any way to your story. It has to match your story, so you don't mislead your audience and they already kind of have an idea what you're going to talk about. As you become a better writer, maybe you can get away with that, like putting a title that's not really have any relation to your story. But for now, don't do that, okay? Because you want to be as transparent and as trustworthy to your audience. I want you to write keywords or ideas that represent your story, and then create a list, and from that list you pick out the ones that stand out, and then you filter your list until you come up with just 3 ideas, and then from those ideas or keywords you write your 3 titles. All right, and then you have the option to create a subtitle, but you don't have to do that. And last, if you're familiar with beta testers, you can ask your friends or people that you know who will help you filter your titles until you come up with the best one, and that's what you use. So there. So now you're ready to write your own story. I hope I've given you all the tools that you will need to start creating your own story. And when you're ready, please send it to me, and then I'm going to read your story and publish it on my website. All right, so do that, please. I really will appreciate if you will participate in this little project of mine to help aspiring writers to start their own journey as a writer. All right, so, oh my god, I'm so tired. This is tiring. I have no idea how tiring this could be. So to all those people who create videos on YouTube or anywhere else, oh my goodness, my hat's off to you, because this is exhausting, but it's fulfilling at the same time, and it's fun. I think it's fun. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the series. I hope I've inspired you to start your own writing journey, and I hope I will have the energy and the time to do more videos like this to help you achieve your dream of becoming a writer one day, and hopefully that happens, and we read each other's stories and share them to the world, because everybody has a story, everybody loves a story. Stories really make the world go round, right? So there you go. I hope you guys are safe and doing well right now. I promise sa susunod kong videos I will speak better and be more clear and more organized. Alright, so there you go. In future videos I will also do different things, like I'm gonna talk about, I love clothes, I love shoes, I love skin stuff. So I want to talk about those too, so we can have more fun talking about things that are not related to writing, but something that will give us a little bit of joy, especially in these uncertain and trying times. All right, so you guys take care, and I'll see you again. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. If you like the video, please like the video. Please visit my other videos, and hopefully you can learn something from them. See you guys. Bye.